The Krell delegation arrived at the neutral space station with their apex predator in tow, as was their custom for all diplomatic negotiations. Ambassador Marcus Webb watched through the observation window as the alien vessel docked, its hull adorned with symbols of conquest and dominance. "They're bringing their Vraken," Lieutenant Jennifer Hayes reported, her voice tight with concern. "Intelligence says it's a 600-pound carnivore from their homeworld. Never been defeated in ritual combat." Marcus nodded, his weathered face betraying no emotion. He'd spent 20 years in the diplomatic corps, but this was different. The Krell Imperium controlled 40 star systems, and humanity desperately needed this trade agreement. But the Krell had one ironclad rule: before any negotiation, both sides must present their apex predator. It was a test of worthiness, a display of evolutionary superiority. "And our representative?" Marcus asked, though he already knew the answer. Jennifer glanced toward the holding bay. "Captain Rodriguez brought him up from Earth last week. Bengal tiger, 400 pounds. And..." She hesitated. "There's a complication." "What complication?" "The tiger has a cub. 3 months old. Rodriguez says they can't be separated, the cub is still nursing." Marcus closed his eyes. Perfect. The most important negotiation in human history, and they were bringing a mother tiger and her baby to face an alien apex predator that had never lost a fight. The ceremonial hall was vast, constructed of translucent materials that revealed the cosmos beyond. The Krell delegation stood on one side, their chitinous exoskeletons gleaming under the station's lights. They were insectoid, roughly humanoid, with 4 arms and mandibles that clicked constantly in their native tongue. Ambassador Zarketh, the Krell leader, gestured toward the containment field where their Vraken waited. The creature was nightmare-given form, a mass of scaled muscle with 6 legs, a serpentine neck, and a mouth filled with crystalline teeth. It prowled its containment area, yellow eyes fixed on the humans with predatory intelligence. "We present Korthax, undefeated champion of 17 worlds," Zarketh announced through the translation device. "Your species has requested trade rights and passage through our territory. As per our tradition, you must present your apex predator. Only then will we determine if you are worthy of our time." Marcus stepped forward, his diplomatic uniform crisp despite the tension coiling in his gut. "The human delegation accepts your terms. We present our representative." The containment field on the human side deactivated. What emerged made the Krell delegation recoil. The Bengal tigress moved with liquid grace, her orange and black striped coat rippling over powerful muscles. She was magnificent, primal, every inch the apex predator. But trailing behind her, tumbling and mewing, was her cub, a small, fluffy ball of fur that hadn't yet grown into its oversized paws. Zarketha's mandibles clicked rapidly, a sign of confusion. "You bring a nursing mother? And her offspring? This is unprecedented. Do humans not understand the purpose of this ritual?" Marcus had prepared for this moment. He'd spent weeks studying Krell culture, understanding their values. "Ambassador Zarketh, we understand perfectly. You wish to see our apex predator. This is she. But the offspring makes her more dangerous, not less," Marcus interrupted, his voice carrying across the hall. "On Earth, there is no force more deadly than a mother protecting her young." The tigress settled in the center of the arena, her cub playing at her feet. She watched the Vraken with amber eyes that held no fear, only calculation. When the cub wandered too close to the containment field's edge, she gently pulled it back with one massive paw. Zarketh consulted with his delegation, their clicking intensifying. Finally, he turned back to Marcus. "You would have us believe that this creature, burdened with protecting its offspring, is your champion? The Vraken would destroy her." "Then release it," Marcus said quietly. "Let us see." The challenge hung in the air. The Krell valued strength above all, but they also valued honor. To refuse now would be an insult to their own traditions. Zarketh made the gesture. The Vraken's containment field dropped. What happened next would be analyzed by xenobiologists for decades. The Vraken charged, confident in its superiority. It had faced countless predators across the Krell Imperium's territories, none had ever survived. But the Tigress didn't meet the charge. Instead, she positioned herself between the Vraken and her cub, her body language shifting from relaxed to explosive readiness in an instant. The Vraken's first strike was lightning fast, its crystalline teeth snapping toward the Tigress's throat. She twisted, impossibly agile for her size, and her claws raked across the Vraken's scaled hide. The alien predator shrieked, it had never been wounded before. But the Tigress wasn't finished. Every time the Vraken tried to circle around to the vulnerable cub, she was there. Every strike was met with coordinated defense and brutal counterattack. She fought with a ferocity that transcended mere survival instinct. This was a mother defending her child, and in that moment, she was the most dangerous creature in the galaxy. The battle lasted 3 minutes. When it ended, the Vraken lay on the ground, not dead but thoroughly defeated, whimpering as the Tigress stood over it. She hadn't gone for the kill, she'd simply made it clear that any threat to her cub would end the same way. Then she returned to her cub, who had been crying throughout the confrontation. She nuzzled it gently, licking its fur, as if the brutal display of violence had never happened. The silence in the hall was absolute. Zarketh approached the containment field slowly, his 4 arms spread in a gesture Marcus had learned meant profound respect. "We have underestimated your species," the Krell ambassador said. "We thought the offspring made her weak. We did not understand that it made her unstoppable." Marcus allowed himself a small smile. "On Earth, we have a saying, never get between a mother and her child." "This explains much about humanity," Zarketh replied, his mandibles clicking in what the translation device rendered as laughter. "You do not fight merely for survival or dominance. You fight for something greater. For family," Jennifer added from behind Marcus. "For those who depend on us." The Krell delegation conferred briefly, then Zarketh returned. "The Krell Imperium recognizes humanity as worthy partners. Your trade agreement will be approved, and we grant you unrestricted passage through our territories. But more than that, we wish to establish an alliance. Any species that breeds such warriors who fight not for glory but for love, is a species we want as allies, not enemies." As the negotiations concluded successfully, Marcus watched the Tigress return to her secure habitat with her cub. The little one was nursing now, blissfully unaware that its mother had just secured humanity's place among the stars. Captain Rodriguez approached, grinning. "I told you bringing her was the right call." Marcus laughed, the tension finally breaking. "Remind me never to doubt the power of a mother's love again." Or, Jennifer added, watching the peaceful scene, the wisdom of knowing when apparent weakness is actually humanity's greatest strength. The stars wheeled outside the station, and humanity took another step into the cosmos, not through superior technology or ruthless conquest, but through the simple, undeniable truth that some things in the universe are worth fighting for with every ounce of strength in your body. And sometimes, the fiercest warriors are the ones protecting the smallest lives.